And we are live. Hello, everybody. Just... Hello, everybody. I have dinner with me, and it is the rule that I must watch something on YouTube while eating dinner. So, that's what we're going to do. At least until I'm done with dinner. Jacksepticeye uploaded a new Schedule 1. PewDiePie uploaded a new video on Linux. Interesting. Charlie uploaded a new video. Damn, I had nothing to watch yesterday, and now today everyone's got videos? That's crazy. But no tech news today.
I am from the year 2065. I teleported here to tell.
Fucking, I hate shorts a lot. They're really annoying. Okay, let's watch. God, what do I watch while I eat? Could watch the Charlie video. It's called Tipping Freakout, but it was only uploaded 4 hours ago. It's not like I have an audience to steal content from. Let's be completely honest. Me reacting to something doesn't affect to it because I don't have a view count that would affect it. But I don't like watching commentary content because it feels like they're doing all the commentating and I'm just watching it. I would like to watch something that I can comment on. Linus Tech Tips uploaded a video on cooling a PC with a fire truck. As much of a techie as I am, I think that's a little bit outside my scope. Alright, we're just gonna watch Charlie while we have dinner. Dinner today, chicken salad. It's my skinny dinner. I shouldn't call it that. Alright, we're just gonna watch Charlie while I eat. And then we'll get to doing, I don't know, whatever we decide to do.
I saw a very interesting...
Hold on, I have an audio glitch. This happens all the time, and I have to go disable this, re-enable it, and now it's magically fixed.
video today.
Never mind.
That ties in.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know if it sounds right in the stream. I've never actually gone back and watched one to see. It doesn't normally happen on stream. Yeah, it's really annoying. And if it does go over stream, you guys will finally get to hear what it sounds like. But that happens to me on a daily basis. It's really annoying. Anyway.
To a topic that I saw a very interesting video today that ties into a topic that I've discussed on streams passionately for years now. Tipping. I know, all at once, a bunch of people just went from the relaxed position to the locked-in stance in their chairs because tipping is a hot-button topic. So what happened is some guys went to a...
before whatever happens here, because I'm sure it's just stupid, silly drama. It doesn't have anything to do with his actual opinion on tipping. As someone who works in food service, and used to work, well, now I work in fast food service, but I used to work in a diner. I hate tipping. And I specifically hate it. Here in California, you cannot include tipping as part of our minimum wage. But there are many parts of the world, or the country, there are many parts of the country where they include your projected tips onto your hourly wage. And that counts towards, oh my god, I just realized, that counts towards the state or county minimum wage. And I think that is some bull, because I am the person who counts and calculates the tips at my store every single week, and we average between 60 to 80 cents per hour. So many places say that you get, you know, if the minimum wage is $13, $13 an hour, and then in parentheses, $12 an hour plus $1 an hour tips. That's bull. Tips, if they exist, are supposed to be a donation from a purchasing customer, a consumer, to you, the individual worker, as a thank you for good service, for doing a good job. It should not be part of your projected income. It's definitely not part of your wages. And as someone who calculates the tips every week, I know that it's not even close, or at least not consistently, to what they advertise. So I think it's bull. And I think tipping should not be a thing. I think we should be paid, our wage should be like $1 higher, and tipping should just not be a thing. And then if people want to tip, sure, they can, but like it shouldn't be something that's shoved in your face or ever expected of you. It should just be like you can do it if you want. Like you can hand me a bill if you want to, and I'll take it. But there shouldn't be a tip jar, and it shouldn't be expected of. Even in like I think the biggest offensive tips that people make is service industries like tattoo parlors and nail salons and hair salons and stuff. And people are like, well, you can't get rid of tipping because tipping is like the majority of their income and it's essential to their business, and getting rid of tipping is just killing those businesses. Just add it to the cost of the service. I don't understand why, like, a flash sale for tattoos is like, the tattoo is only $15 plus tip. So just say the actual price. Don't say, oh, your tattoo's only $50 and $75 tip. That's just $125. Just charge $125. God, it's stupid. But anyway, that's my opinion on tipping. I don't like it. I think it's bad and stupid, and it shouldn't be a part of the industry. If people want to tip, sure, but they should not be expected to, ever. Anyway, that took about less than 20 seconds into the video for me to start talking. I'm gonna go back to eating.
Restaurant, got some food, paid for it, and left, but the restaurant owner noticed they didn't leave a tip. So he starts following them around on the street like the adoring fan from Oblivion. He is literally just on their tail like it's a fucking trailing mission out of a video game. And he's like insulting them, even like threatening them, all about not leaving that tip.
Hey bro, what are you on, bro? What are you on? I paid for my food. I paid for my food. What are you talking? Why are you following me down the fucking street? Nigga, you need to get the fuck back. You need to get back. Why are you following me? Why are you following me? What do you think? Why are you following me? What are you gonna do? Call 911. Call 911. If you need to settle something, you know who to call.
The guy feels.
Okay, this is not what I thought was going to happen at all. I thought it was going to be a customer freaking out. This is beyond unhinged. Because he says it's the restaurant owner. I don't know if it is. But if it seriously is, that's even more insane, because the restaurant owner should not be claiming any of the service tips, ever. Managers in Starbucks don't get tips, because that's not for you. It's for the service workers, not the manager. If that is actually the store owner, I don't care if he's cooking and serving. He's the owner, he doesn't get tips. He has a salary or an income from the restaurant if it's like not a franchise, if it's just him. So he shouldn't be getting tips. And even if he should, tips are optional. They are not required. They were never required. They're definitely not required by law or anything. This is unhinged.
Filming is right. He didn't break any laws. He paid for his meal, and it's not a legal obligation to tip. So the owner on his ass here like a hemorrhoid, like it's, you know, the horror movie It Follows about him not tipping, is wrong here. Because again, he didn't do anything wrong. So the guy filming is like, well, call the police then if you think there's been some, you know, foul play, you know, some dirty barnacles from us. You can call the police about it. Obviously, the owner's not going to do that because there's not actually a case there.
Bro, I'm not trying to fuck with you. You piece of shit. Bro, I'm not trying to goddamn fucking yelling at me. I'm not trying to fuck with you, bro. You shut your goddamn fucking mouth, man. Why are you following me down the street? You piece of shit, little piece of shit, man. I paid for my food. I'll smack the shit out of you, punk ass, man. I pay for my food, bro. Piece of shit. I pay for my food. How the fuck do you
That's how you get return customers. Just like this.
Supposed to make fucking money, huh? So raise your price, huh?
Now I'm cutting around this.
What? You're the one paying them. You're the one who sets their wage. The only reason you would have to be mad about this is because you're promising them that they make a certain amount of money from tips, and because people are not tipping, they're not making that amount of money. That's a you problem. What do you mean, how is my staff supposed to make money? That's some bullshit.
This a little bit because, as I said, this goes on for a long time. It feels like he follows them for miles. It felt like in Game of Thrones when they were marching for like a whole season. It felt like we got all of that throughout the course of this video. And it also was getting very heated. It started sounding like a Xbox Live lobby after a Call of Duty round ended. It was getting pretty big and a lot of yelling. But when the owner said that, how is my staff supposed to make money? Brother, it felt like I got teabagged. I was stunned. I was seeing stars. You are the owner. What do you mean, how is your staff supposed to make money? Pay them a livable wage. Like, it's not the most difficult to grasp concept. You don't need to be astronaut Katy Perry to understand this rocket science here. Tipping is a way for businesses to save money on their employee salaries by paying them sub-minimum wage. It's a way for business owners to financially treat the faces of their employees like a fucking fleshlight by paying them less than what they are supposed to, because tipping is supposed to make up for the difference, at least in the majority of states. There are some states that I'm aware of where restaurant workers can get tips, but they are still paid the normal minimum wage. But in most of the states in America, you get sub-minimum wage when you are working in a service industry position that has tipping as part of it. Tipping is just so ingrained in the culture of America right now, and it has just become pervasive in every industry. I'm sure a lot of you watching this have seen, like, self-checkout kiosks that now have tips that pop up occasionally. There is tipping in every single thing, and it's been a big talking point for a few years because now...
Which is insane. Because if I self-service, who am I tipping? It's literally just an extra charge. It's just a business getting more money out of you for free. They're literally a business taking your money for free. Ridiculous. There was another thought I had. Oh yeah, the culture thing. It is such an American thing. So I know that, like, they don't tip in the most of the rest of the world, but it's not just they don't tip. I remember Markiplier telling a story about a time he was in Korea. This might have been on Distractable, I'm not sure. And he, like, instinctively went to tip a service worker at, like, a restaurant, and they were offended. Because it was like, oh, I'm sorry, do you think I don't work hard enough? Do you think I don't support myself? Why would I want your free money? Keep it, I don't want your money. And that makes sense. It's such an American thing to have tips so ingrained in our culture. It's so sad. And it's just a capitalism thing.
you are getting asked to tip on purely automated services. Like, who the fuck are you even tipping? Skynet? Like, it doesn't make sense. It is just outrageous. But when it comes to restaurants, the workers rely on tips because they're not getting paid a livable wage in the majority of states, and thus the onus is on the customer now to try and make up that difference so that restaurant worker can fucking survive. And it sucks. That shit is awful. Now in my case, I do maximum tip on everything in the service industry because I'm in a position to do so. And I know that they need that money, so I like to try and help out best I can. And Lord help us, I'm ashamed to admit it, I've even tipped at a self-serve froyo place once, where literally didn't interact with a single employee or anything, just made my own froyo, and I still tipped at the goddamn checkout. But point is, not everyone can do that. And not everyone should be required or expected to do that. It should always be the responsibility of the business to ensure the employees are making a livable wage, and tips should be something that is entirely optional as a way of rewarding exceptional service. And I know people have talked about that a lot, where they want to give extra to someone that really went above and beyond from them and they had a great experience with, so they want to tip that person to show their appreciation. That's great, but they should also just be making a livable wage, and that tip should go on top. I think that's how it should work in an ideal situation there.
Why you following me down the street?
Chill the fuck out, bro. Why you
Bro,
following
chill out.
us, bro?
Fucking make money, chill out.
Why'd you following this man?
Chill out, bro. You need to calm down, bro.
You fucking raise your goddamn voice at me, huh?
Bro, you need to get back. You trying to back me into a corner. You trying to back me into a corner, bro.
What is wrong with you, bro?
What are you doing? What are you doing, bro?
And now you mad because I won't tip you and you follow me down the street?
Supposed to fucking make money.
Okay, so raise your prices, dude. That's not my problem. I know you not. I know. So don't serve me.
It's crazy to be doing this while wearing his restaurant on his chest. So what happened after this video blew up is a lot of people went to the restaurant and left a lot of really bad reviews on it, which I think they've been deleted now. I don't know if it's by him or if there's like a system in place for it. Couldn't tell you. But it was a really bad look for his restaurant here. He also just recently did an interview with CBS. I'll show you that in a moment. But I want to dive into the spaghetti and meatballs of something that the guy filming mentioned briefly. Raise your prices then. He's right. If the business owner can't afford to pay his employees a livable wage, he would naturally need to raise prices.
Again, I don't know if the audio glitch shows through, but it's doing it again. This is really annoying. Don't buy Focus, right? Don't buy it. Oh, that didn't fix it again. The audio drivers on Focusrite devices are beyond unacceptably bad. Borderline unusable. Don't buy Focusrite until they fix their drivers. Goddamn. Also, sorry for talking with food in my mouth. That was rude. Back to the video.
Prices so he'd have more money to be able to pay his employees. But on the flip side of that coin, by raising his prices, he would have less customers because they would choose a place that is cheaper. Now, there's actually a little experiment conducted by someone named Michael Lynn, and it's been referenced by a lot of people when they talk about tipping culture, where he put two hypothetical restaurants against each other. Restaurant 1 had prices of like $15 for a cheeseburger, but a 15 to 20% gratuity to be expected at the end, versus Restaurant 2, where there is no tipping at all, but the cheeseburger is $17.25. Now, if you've got your thinking caps on, if you've passed, second grade arithmetic, you'll know these are the same price. But overwhelmingly, the people in the study thought that Restaurant 1 was cheaper. Thus, people are going to gravitate towards that. Even though they're the same price after tip, people are going to choose the one that looks lower and cheaper to them. You have to remember, a lot of people are just fucking stupid. Does anyone recall when the third of a pound burger was introduced a long time ago? I've talked about this too. Back in the day, the quarter pounder crushing it. And A&W wanted to start trying to, encroach on that territory, so they introduced a third of a pound burger. But it flopped. It completely failed. This shit fumbled like Concorde. It was a culinary Concorde level disaster for them because people thought they were paying the same price for less burger. They didn't realize that a third of a pound is more than a quarter pound. So in the case of a restaurant that wants to pay their workers a livable wage and take tipping out of the equation and instead put that price into the menu itself, which is what a lot of people say they should do, well, their restaurant might not survive very long because people don't actually think very hard about things. So even in this hypothetical example, you're paying the same price, but the perception is it's cheaper to go with the place that just has tipping as an option. Now that brings us to the unicorn that people are looking so desperately to have, where all of the tipping is gone, eradicated, but all of the prices have stayed exactly the same. That's just not a realistic possibility for like 99% of these restaurants. Like, when they take away the tipping, they are then going to need to pay a lot more for those employees. Thus, they're going to need to somehow get more money. It's going to be by folding that difference into the menu items. Thus, it's going to look like you're paying more, even in cases where you might not be. So, it's very tough for a lot of these restaurants to just immediately jump on board with that, which is why we're in this fucking stalemate where tipping culture is just completely out of control, and why so many service industry workers are getting fucked because of just how rampant this issue is, and more people are choosing not to tip because they want to fight back against this. And in a lot of cases, they don't
I don't avoid tipping because I want to fight back against the system, because that only hurts the employees. I don't tip because I'm broke. Because I ain't got that kind of money on me. Sorry to everyone who has ever serviced me. I wish your employer would pay you a livable wage, but I don't have the money to cover your costs. I'm sorry.
Realize that they're not actually fighting back against tipping culture itself. They're just hurting the employees that are relying on it. And I think a lot of it doesn't, like, I don't think it comes down to malice. I don't think they're doing that to just be like, fuck you to the service industry workers. I really think that they believe by not tipping, the restaurant is going to change its policy. But it's probably not. Unfortunately, most of these fucking restaurants will sooner pay their workers in knuckle sandwiches than they will in raising their salary. And there's a lot more nuance to it. Like, I'm just giving you like bare bones surface level shit here. Like, I haven't even begun to talk about the establishments that pay out a portion of their tips across all of the employees. Like, it gets so messy, and there are so many underhanded tactics to exploit these workers. It's a fucking issue. Anyway, though, back to the video that started this whole rant. I want to show you from the owner's perspective on the CBS interview.
Telling us he followed a regular into the street, intending to tell him never to come back after leaving without tipping again.
Insane.
Have you watched the video?
Yes.
And when you watched it, what did you see there?
Ashamed. I was just ashamed. You know, bring shame to my wife as a husband, you know, as an owner.
Ashamed after he got Google
at the same
review
time,
bombed.
you know, to my mom and dad.
So according to the owner here, this was a customer that's a regular at the establishment, and he had finally had enough, so after he didn't tip again, he followed him outside, intending to just say, don't come back.
That's insane. A consistent source of income, a regular customer. That's worse, dude. Whoops.
So according to the owner here, this was a customer that's a regular at the establishment, and he had finally had enough, so after he didn't tip again, he followed him outside, intending to just say, don't come back, kind of like shake his fist at him,
Sure.
and stay out,
That's exactly
that
what
kind
he
of
meant
thing.
to do.
But it obviously spiraled more out of control than that and blew up in a much bigger way, which ignited a huge debate online about tipping, because tipping is a very controversial topic. People feel very strongly, especially people that have been in the industry before. And while there definitely are cases where people don't tip just to be an asshole, I really do think there is a lot of confusion around how tipping even like works, that people think,
I mean, not always just to be an asshole. If my service was bad, I'm not going to tip. Even if I had the money, if my server was an asshole, I'm not going to tip because I'm not going to reward that behavior. And that sounds petty and unfair because they depend on those tips to make enough money, but also I should not be subsidizing your livelihood in the first place. And if I'm going to if I have the means to do it and I'm choosing to be generous enough to do it, you being an asshole should disqualify you, because like it should disqualify you not from the pay but from my generosity. So you should still get your wage, but not from me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, I think, yep, that's how I feel. I thought about it, articulated it in my head. No, that's how I feel. I think that's correct. Because it costs nothing to be kind. I just had a work meeting today, actually. And I was at a store that I'm not usually at, working with a team that I don't usually work with. And we talked a lot about new policies and about customer experiences and interactions and stuff. And some of my fellow workers, who are slaves to the siren, are burnt out and jaded by it, which I totally understand. I have been there. And they kind of just low-key advocated for being allowed to be an asshole to customers because customers aren't doing things right or aren't following the rules correctly. Which, on the flip side, I have a regular at my store named Dave, and he comes in, I think with his daughter. I never asked, but I think it's his daughter. He comes in at least a few times a week. And there was one time where he ordered they ordered their drinks, and then an old lady ordered after them, and then he sat down to wait, and the old lady stood at the end of the counter and talked to me the entire time I was making the drinks, making their orders. And she questioned everything I was doing, and she like was demanding very specific things, and she was trying to add stuff on that she didn't pay for. And at the end of the day, especially with a corporation as massive as Starbucks, it's more important that we make sure our customers have a happy experience and come back and order again than it is to demand that I charge them 80 cents for some cinnamon. So I just give her what she wants, and I do it with a smile on my face. I say please and thank you, and I tell her to have a good day. I hope she enjoys. I get her order out, I see her off, and then Dave comes back, and he reached out to shake my hand, and he was like, he said my name because I have my name tag on, and he actually pronounces it correctly, which is crazy. And he said, thank you so much for how you treated that old lady. We need more people like you in the world. And when he shook my hand, he handed me $20 as a tip. And I was very surprised. And I was extremely surprised, not because I got given $20. I was extremely surprised because I act that way with every single customer. And I see like 300 a day. Because it costs me nothing to be nice. It is not harder for me to be nice. It is not more tiring for me to be nice. If anything, being angry and grumpy and unhappy and negative takes way more out of me than being nice does. Even if I'm doing a job that I hate and not getting paid enough to do it, and I'm burnt out and tired, and I'm not being paid a livable wage, being mad about it to my customers does not make it any easier. It actually makes it harder. That kind of constant negativity is draining, especially if you're already working a 4 to 8 hour shift on top of it. So I talked to my coworkers about it today. Not my direct coworkers, but the ones that I was with the work meeting in today. And, you know, I piped in my opinion and was like, hey, like, if a customer chooses to not listen to me and break the rules and do stupid shit, that's not my problem. I'm not here to parent them. I'm not here to police them. I'm just be nice to them, be polite. And then when my job is done, my job is done. And what they do with the rest of their life ain't my problem. If they pull out of the drive-thru and turn right after I told them not to do that, that's not my problem. That's their choice. I did my job and I was nice about it. There's no need for me to have an argument. And I had multiple coworkers who were arguing that they should be allowed to have an argument with the customer to try to correct them. And I'm like, there's no point. That takes so much more energy and time, and just be nice. Just be happy, be kind, see them on their way. It's not your problem anymore. You are not responsible for everybody. So the same is reversed. If I'm a customer and my service is awful and my server is an asshole, I ain't tipping you. Even if I have the money to do it, which I currently don't. I currently don't tip because I'm broke as hell and don't have the money to do it. So, but if I did, I would not tip an asshole. Because you're not, no matter how much money I have, you are not obliged, you are not entitled to my generosity. And some people will hate that opinion. Some people will say that I'm a petty jerk because this person won't be able to pay their bills because of me. They should have been nice. Like, I'm not asking for a lot. Honestly, I would just, if I had the money to, I would tip everyone, regardless of if their service was exceptional, if they were just nice. Because it costs nothing to be nice. Anyway, that went on way longer than I intended.
By not doing it, they're going to help be like a catalyst for change at that business, where they'll realize that the tips aren't coming in, so it's losing the business money. Thus, they're going to change their policy to actually pay their workers a livable wage, and then they won't be, forced to rely on strangers to cover their expenses. But that's, again, just not going to happen in the majority of cases because it doesn't hurt the actual business owner. What's supposed to happen is if they don't reach minimum wage, like if they don't get enough tips to reach that, the business is supposed to cover it. That rarely happens. There are so many workarounds that these businesses pull.
Even though it does happen a lot to a lot of people and they don't get livable minimum wage, it's not consistent and therefore it is not enforced, which is another failure of the system.
So many like backdoor hand job reacharoos that they are able to squeak out of not actually covering that. So it doesn't ever hurt the business itself. It only hurts the worker. And I really think there's a large number of people that don't understand that, but even understanding that, there are people that just can't afford to pay an extra 20% on top of what they've already just paid. And I see a lot of people regurgitating this take that's becoming very common. If you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to eat out.
That's bullshit.
Okay, fair enough in something like Uber Eats or like fine dining or something.
For sure.
Okay, you can make that argument, I suppose.
Because you can't afford a luxury, so don't buy the luxury. It's like if you can't afford a sports car, don't buy the sports car. But if I'm going to Jack in the Box at 2 a.m. and I pay the business for their service and food, I have a right to do that.
That doesn't work for everything because there is no cheap ways of eating anymore, really. Even something like fast food is not that cheap.
Fast food's so fucking expensive. Dude, fast food is getting so expensive from the mega conglomerate corporations. Fast foods are getting so expensive that it is sometimes, like if they're running a deal or if the corporations, the fast food isn't running a deal, it is sometimes cheaper for me to go to a local, non-franchised, non-branch food place and buy freshly made food. And it tastes infinitely better and is so much better for me. And it is sometimes cheaper than McDonald's or Taco Bell. That is insane. That's insane. It shouldn't be that way. What are we paying for?
A McDonald's meal? It's not $1 anymore, sports fans. It's a handful of clams.
It's like $12.
And grocery shopping is pretty fucking pricey too. It's expensive. Like, it is hard to pay an extra 15 to 20% consistently on top of things that you're already paying for when you're eating. Like, I just don't fully agree with that take.
Bro, you about to blow up on social media, bro.
When asked why he didn't tip, the customer told people online, "Oh, I just didn't want to." Cho tells us the customer's brother has since come in, describing their conversation as productive.
I apologized to him and to his family, and I was asking if he can pass this message along to his little brother.
Adding he sent the brother home with the customer's favorite order, a handwritten apology and an offer.
My door's open for you, man. Come on by anytime.
Now, while I do think that response of, "Oh, I just didn't want to," is pretty douchey.
It's also valid. It is douchey, but valid. But the main thing I want to focus on here is the manager's response. I feel like it's fake as hell, and he's doing damage recovery, and he's doing what he has to. But at the same time, I feel like that's the best he can do. Sometimes you fuck up so bad that there isn't a way to recover because it was genuine malice. It wasn't just a mistake. However, whether it was malice or mistake, life goes on, and I feel like that was kind of the best thing he could do. That's a pretty good apology. I appreciate that.
Again, he doesn't have to, and I really do think it shouldn't be expected that every single person does tip, because that's just the reality of it. It is 100% an issue that needs to be addressed on like the actual business front, and it's why there's so many people that study tipping itself and are trying to brainstorm how to improve it and get rid of it to certain extents, because it is a terrible fucking system that nobody else in the world really uses, and in a lot of other cultures is actually viewed as insulting. So like it is something that does need changing 100%. Now in the case of this business owner here, he really seems remorseful. Like he really does seem like he's trying to make amends. It does seem like maybe he was just having like a really fucking bad day, and not getting that tip meant that one of his workers wasn't going to receive like the full pay they should have, so he snapped and did this, and he seems embarrassed by it. So I'm of the belief that he does regret it, and that this is going to be an experience that he won't be repeating or anything like that. But that statement he made during the argument, how is my staff supposed to make a living without tips? Paraphrasing a bit, but that was the essence. It speaks volumes to just how poisonous tipping has become, where the business owner himself cannot even grapple with the idea of paying his employees a livable wage, because it's such an accepted and expected business practice of paying them sub-minimum wage. Literal tiddlywinks of dollars.
I don't even know if we in America could ever get rid of tipping, because it is so culturally ingrained. It's such a problem. We're literally the only country in the world that does it. Obviously, it works to not do it.
Because
oh my god, audio glitch again. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's awful. It goes and you can't understand anything anymore.
It's the customer's
damn, it's still like, what the fuck? I hate you, Focus, right? Fix your shit.
Literal tiddlywinks of dollars, because it's the customer's responsibility to take care of the rest. That's just crazy to me. It blows my mind. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's it. So yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything he said. Yeah. Most important takeaway from this video, probably. Very sad place we are in. Also, I've been eating dark chocolates because my girlfriend got me dark chocolates on Easter, and I love them. Dark chocolate is best chocolate. Well, I'm done with dinner, but I still don't have any plans for today. Let's see. What shall we do? We could play Schedule 1. We could play Balatro. Haven't done that in a hot minute. What else could we do? Also, super cool thing that happened last night after the charity stream. So I ended up donating $17.40 to the Jed Foundation, and Starbucks has something called the Giving something, some PR policy they have where they will match your donation up to like a certain amount, and $17.14 is way under that. So thanks to my workplace, I was able to donate double. So in total, I technically only donated $17.40, but because of my donation, the Jed Foundation received $34.80, which I'm really happy about. I know that $38 is not a lot of money, But I don't have a lot of money to give, and I still gave something because it matters to me and I care, and I think that's worth something. All right. Let's see. What's on Steam? We have Banishers, Ghost of New Eden, RPG that came out a while ago and it looks super good, and I never played, and I intend to play it sometime. Buckshot Roulette. Balatro, of course. Ooh, Do No Harm full version came out. We're going to have to do a stream and recording of this game because I really enjoyed it. And chat really enjoyed it too. So we're going to have to play Do No Harm sometime. Not tonight. We're going to devote a stream to that for sure. Do No Harm full version's out. What else? The Hailwald loophole was requested, so we gotta do that sometime. Apparently it's actually pretty long, though. Excuse me. Kiosk. God damn it. I dared to eat food, and now my throat is all... Kiosk looks fun. I think Egghead actually did a video on Kiosk. I don't know if it ever came out. God damn it. What? For some reason, YouTube search is only showing me the top 7 results. Oh wait, I can show 7 more. It's only showing me the top 14 results, and it's only showing me previously watched stuff. It is not letting me... Okay, so YouTube search is broken right now. Don't know when that started, but it's completely broken. It's only showing me previously watched videos. Okay, well then, I guess I'm not searching for anything. Interesting. We could play Kiosk. I believe it's a pretty short indie horror game. I gotta do a video of mouth washing for sure. Power Wash Simulator, always good. Schedule 1, I've been playing so much Schedule 1 on a new file off stream while I was sick. Oh my god, I love it. It's such a good game. I don't know, it's almost 11 already. Might not do much today. What am I in the mood for? I don't know. I'm feeling kind of... For one, I'm tired. Yesterday I worked 8 hours and 50 minutes and then streamed for 3 hours. And then today I had a work meeting and then I went to a birthday party. And now I'm streaming. I'm tired. I'm kind of tired, kind of lazy. I just ate. I have to drive again later tonight because I have to go pick up my girlfriend. Oof. Might just call it early. Super early. I haven't even been streaming for an hour. But that's okay. Honestly, I just like to do it. I just like to get on here and stream and talk, and it's good enough for me. I think we're going to go ahead and call it early. Super, super early today. Just because I'm tired. And, there's, like, some good stuff to do, but there's stuff that I want to, like, devote a whole stream to. and we're not going to do that today. So anyway, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and call stream there. It was just dinner on YouTube tonight. Thank you guys all so much for tuning into the stream. Thank you to all the lurkers in the YouTube stream. I see you. I hope you've had a good time, and I hope you have had some fun watching and listening. Even if you don't chat, still appreciate you, still see you. And I will see... I don't stream on Sundays, because Sundays are D&D days, so I will see you all on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, or 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern Time for our regularly scheduled stream. Wow, I cannot talk today. I do not know what's up. I'm chirping over my words. Anyway, that's all. Goodbye. Good night. Have a good one.